In the grand tapestry of Norse mythology, few narratives resonate as profoundly as the tale of Baldr's death and its profound implications for the impending doom of Ragnarök. Join us as we delve into the heart of this gripping saga, exploring the pivotal moments that transformed Baldr's demise into the catalyst for the end of the world. But before we begin our tale, I invite you to become part of our community by liking this video. Your support means everything to us. So let's embark on this mythical journey together. The Golden Hall of Folkvang was where the gods held their great feasts. And there, among the Aesir, a deep unease was spreading like a creeping shadow. Whispers echoed through the hall, carrying tales of an impending doom, Ragnarök, the twilight of the gods. The air grew heavy with foreboding, and even the joyous revelry couldn't dispel the chilling prophecy. For in the grand scheme of things, Baldr's fate was intricately woven into the very fabric of this looming apocalypse. His life and death were not his own, but rather a crucial piece of a much larger and terrifying cosmic puzzle. In the pantheon of Norse gods, Baldr held a unique place as the personification of light, joy, and purity. His very essence was radiant, casting an ethereal glow over everything he touched. The son of Odin and the god of wisdom and poetry, Baldr's life symbolized optimism and hope. He was the beacon of joy amidst the often grim and perilous adventures of the gods, a testament to the enduring human spirit. His presence was a soothing balm, capable of healing emotional wounds and dispelling the shadows of despair. But this narrative takes a sharp turn when the prophecy of Ragnarök emerges, casting a long, cold shadow over the realm of the gods. This looming apocalypse was not some distant, abstract event. It was a living, breathing threat that coiled around the hearts of the gods, squeezing the joy out of their lives. Amidst this growing dread, Baldr's own mortality loomed like a dark cloud on the horizon. Whispers hinted at his impending demise, suggesting that his death would be the spark that would ignite the full-blown conflagration of Ragnarök. As the weight of this prophecy settled upon him, Baldr found himself grappling with an existential crisis. Faced with the prospect of his own annihilation, he began to question the very purpose of his existence. The once carefree god now wrestled with thoughts of legacy, of what would remain of him when his time came. He wasn't merely fighting for his own survival anymore. He was battling to preserve the essence of joy and light that he represented, striving to ensure that his death wouldn't bring darkness to the world. But fate, it seemed, had a cruel sense of irony. Baldr's initial reaction to this prophecy was one of disbelief and defiance. How could he, a god of light and joy, be the harbinger of the end of the world? He saw the fear in the eyes of mortals, the way they looked at him with a mixture of reverence and terror. Their belief in his inevitable demise and the ensuing Ragnarök was so profound that it was becoming a self-fulfilling prophecy. The more they feared, the more they believed, and their collective belief was molding Baldr's fate into a grim reality. This growing dread became a heavy cloak upon his shoulders, stifling the very essence of his being. With each passing day, he felt the weight of expectation pressing down on him, making every laugh feel forced, every smile a burden. The burden of being the god of light was suddenly a suffocating mantle. The joy he once radiated now seemed like a mocking echo of his true feelings. In a desperate bid to escape this suffocating destiny, Baldr sought solace in the wisdom of his father, Odin. The Allfather, revered as the god of wisdom and magic, was the embodiment of knowledge and insight. To Baldr, he represented not just paternal authority, but also a beacon of hope in the encroaching darkness. In those hushed moments in Odin's wisdom, Baldr hoped to find a way out of the impending doom. Odin, with his all-seeing gaze, understood the depth of his son's despair. He knew that Baldr's sorrow wasn't just about his own fate, but about the fate of the entire cosmos. The prophecy of Ragnarök was not something to be taken lightly. It was a cosmic storm that threatened to engulf everything the gods had built. Yet Odin, ever the pragmatist, refused to surrender to the prophecy. Instead, he sought to understand it, to unravel its complexities and find a chink in its armor. The god of wisdom delved into the cryptic runes, seeking clarity in the mists of fate. He scoured the ancient texts, hoping to find a loophole, a way to alter the prophecy, or perhaps even avert it altogether. As the days turned into weeks and the whispers of Ragnarök grew louder, Odin's search yielded no definitive answers. Each revelation only added another layer to the complexity of the prophecy, making it seem more inescapable, more inevitable. Yet amidst this bleak landscape, Odin discovered a glimmer of hope, a possibility, however slim, that could alter the course of fate. He saw that while the prophecy foretold Baldr's death as the catalyst for Ragnarök, it didn't specify the manner of his death. Was it to be a violent demise, a heroic sacrifice, or perhaps an ordinary death? Odin saw a chance, however faint, to manipulate these circumstances, to change the conditions of Baldr's death in the hopes of altering the prophecy's outcome. With newfound determination, Odin shared his insights with Baldr, presenting him with the possibility of changing his fate. It was a risky gamble, a game of cosmic chess where the pieces were the lives of gods and the board itself was the fate of the world. But Odin believed that his son, with his inherent optimism and resilience, was up to the challenge. As Baldr absorbed his father's words, a spark of defiance rekindled in his eyes. The crushing weight of inevitability that had been sapping his joy was replaced by a surge of determination. Odin was right. The prophecy might have been set in motion, but it wasn't immutable. There was still room to maneuver, to negotiate with fate itself. But the question remained, how could Baldr influence the conditions of his death without propelling the world into chaos? The gods gathered in the Grand Council, their expressions a mix of anxiety and hope. Baldr, standing tall despite the turmoil within, laid out his plan. It was a strategy born of desperation, a last-ditch effort to defy the prophecy, but one that carried the weight of the entire cosmos on its shoulders. He proposed a series of trials, challenges designed to test his mortality, to push him to the brink of death and pull him back. If successful, these trials could either strengthen him, alter the prophecy, or potentially even avert Ragnarök altogether. The gods, with their fates hanging in the balance, agreed to Baldr's plan. They devised a series of trials that would test the limits of Baldr's resilience, each one pushing him closer to the precipice of death without actually crossing it. These trials were not mere tests of strength or skill. They were challenges to his very essence, designed to chip away at his immortality and expose his vulnerability. As Baldr stepped into the first trial, the atmosphere was thick with tension. Each god present knew that Baldr wasn't just representing himself. He was the embodiment of light and hope in a world teetering on the edge of darkness. Through gritted teeth and strained muscles, Baldr pushed on. He endured trials that tested his physical and mental fortitude, each one bringing him closer to death's doorstep. But as he faced each challenge, something remarkable happened. The prophecy of Ragnarök, which had loomed over him like a death sentence, began to shift. It was as if the trials themselves were altering the fabric of fate. With each successful trial, Baldr's understanding of his role in the grand tapestry of existence deepened. He realized that his purpose wasn't just about being the god of light. It was about being a beacon of hope in the darkest of times, about embodying resilience and courage in the face of overwhelming odds. As the final trial drew to a close, the gods watched with bated breath. The prophecy had started to shift, but its outcome still hung in the balance. Baldr, battered but unbroken, emerged from the trial, his body bearing the scars of his ordeal, but his spirit shining brighter than ever. In that moment of triumph, the prophecy was rewritten. Baldr's death, instead of being the catalyst for Ragnarök, became a testament to his indomitable spirit, a symbol of hope in the face of adversity. The gods erupted in cheers, their relief palpable. They had defied the prophecy, or at least postponed it. And as the celebrations reached their zenith, Odin embraced his son, his heart swelling with pride. In that embrace, Baldr felt not just his father's love, but the love and gratitude of the entire pantheon. He was no longer seen as a harbinger of doom, but as a hero who had stared into the abyss and emerged victorious. So friends, as we bring this episode to a close, remember that sometimes our greatest fears can become our greatest strengths. And that hope, like a flickering flame, can endure even in the darkest of prophecies. Until next time, keep your hearts open and your spirits strong.